got our ST240s back out on the grid, the AIRTEC Motorsport Fiesta ST240 Championship. For this third and final race for their weekend, it's going to be a partial reverse grid. They have a random ball draw that gets drawn out after race number 2, and the ball that was drawn was number 10, which means we actually reverse the top 10 positions from race number 2. Why we're looking at electric equipment, not quite sure, but we're going to look at our ST240s on the formation map, and it means that we actually get a quite interesting, slightly jumbled up grid, because on pole position, I think for the first time in her senior racing career, it's going to be none other than Maggie Webster. She will start on the front row of the grid, taking after, of course, her brother Albert, who's former champion. She's in the white and pink Fiesta 188 at the front of the field. She starts alongside Kasper Tomilewski, of course, in his first weekend out of Fiesta Juniors from last year. Then it's John Cooper, who starts third on the grid. What a redemption heat would be for him after all the dramas he had to give himself a podium, at least, in third on the grid. He starts alongside George Fox, though. Could be one of the favourites for victory here if his pace is good. We'll have to wait and see. Then Luke Waugh and David Nye come next. The grid comes up on the screen. So Webster and Tomilewski front row, Cooper and Foxlow row 2, David Nye and Luke Waugh row 3. Jack Sant starts back in 7th alongside Gary Miller. And then we've got our 2 race winners from this weekend, Graham Colfer and Alistair Kellett, defending champion in P10. James Pope starts 11th for Brady Pollock in car 12 in position 12. Then we have it's Simon Waugh and Harry Hayes, followed by Simon Horrobin and Sean Reynolds, and then Marco Ricci and Matt Chambers. So all 18 cars that finished race 2 should be there for race number 3 here this afternoon. So the Fiesta ST240s, which are basically a Fiesta ST180 that's been upgraded and pumped up with a bit more power, up to, guess what, 240 brake horsepower. So there's no such thing as an actual ST240. They refer to that because, of course, they've upgraded the power on the ST180s. And, of course, they run with ASC suspension. They run with the Goodyear slicks. They run with also the AIRTEC I think intercooler and some other piping on top of that as well. And it means that these cars are literally absolute rockets. I mean, in a straight line, they're so quick. And, of course, they really are a good proving ground, John, for drivers that want to go forwards into, I guess, in many cases, touring cars, because these days, touring cars are pretty much slick-tied turbo touring cars, which means these are pretty much what they are. Without any aero, you put a front wing and a front split and a rear wing on them, they are basically a kind of a mid-ish touring car in terms of power. Touring cars have about 300 brake horsepower. These have 240, so they're kind of near as makes no difference. Drivers like Jensen Brickley have come through here and driven, and also got onto TCR stardom in the UK and in Europe, of course, on top of that. He's racing some of the World Tour events on top of that as well. So no wonder drivers have come through these and used them as a stepping stone to be the next step in their racing careers towards possibly touring cars or further afield. And these cars, not only do they have plenty of speed, they just look cool as well with the front splitter on. They've got AIRTEC front splitters. AIRTEC are a great title sponsor. They've been a valued sponsor, not just the championship, but also this weekend, we should say thank you to AIRTEC Motorsport for title sponsoring the event as well, the AIRTEC Motorsport Summer Snetterton season starter. Thanks to all of them, thanks to Ryan Beeden, all involved who get involved with the sport, and they're involved in the BMW Super Cup on top of that as well as one of their associate sponsors. And thanks to AIRTEC for being such a valued partner of BRSCC and of the championship for the last few seasons, rightfully so. And it's good to see that we've got another healthy-ish grid of, well, it is a healthy grid of ST240s, 18, all in healthy condition, and good to go for another 20 minutes of racing here to see who can take victory. This one might be the tastiest out of the 3. I think we could see possibly a surprise winner unless the likes of Colfer and Kellett and co pick their way through pretty quickly in the first couple of laps, John.
It's going to be interesting to see how they take to this race, starting down on row number 5, the likes of Kellett and Colfer. You mentioned George Foxlow. He's always very fast. See how he goes from row number 2. You said potential picks for the race win. It's got to be John Cooper, and you know why? He's got that lucky black door on.
See?
Still has the lucky black door on. Obviously, race number 1, he lost the white door and the race didn't go to plan. But race 2 went very well with the lucky black door. He's here on the second row of the grid, still with the lucky black door on. Let's see what John can do there from row number 2. But honestly, I think I could call any of the drivers in that top 10, so let's see how this goes.
I think Tomilewski could surprise, of course, being he's on the front row of the grid. And, of course, you've got George Fox, so don't count him out at all. He's a brilliant little peddler, also a Fiesta Junior graduate. In fact, actually, we should figure it out. The 3 of the first 4 drivers on the grid are Fiesta Junior graduates. We've got Webster, Tomilewski and Foxlow proving the pedigree, which is how good that championship really is, as we saw yesterday and this morning with our 3 races. Right, for the final time this weekend, the AIRTEC Motorsport Fiesta ST240s are good to go. Red lights are on. Red lights go out any second now. It's a good start initially from Webster, but the second phase it's gone equal for Tomilewski. But you're right about Cooper. Good launch from row number 2, but gets boxed in. Looks to the inside, and Webster immediately defends. Looks one way, then the other. Good start also for David Nye on the grass in the background. I think that's Matt Chambers who's gone off the road as he continues on. And it's side by side. Tomilewski and Webster make contact. Through goes Cooper. They make contact again. Pinballing one way, then the other. But Webster carries on. Thankfully, she keeps it in a straight line. And already Colfer's up to 4th from 9th on the grid. Webster back up the inside of Tomilewski, forces him wide and retakes second place. Good stuff from Maggie. Holds on to P2. They come out of Wilson Hairpin for the first time, and Foxo's been the big loser from that one. He's dropped back from what was 4th down to about 9th or 10th, as we see here Tomaszewski battling with Kolfer. Kolfer getting elbowed out on the exit of Palmer's corner. Out wide goes Luke Ward. He tried to get past Alistair Kellett. And also there was Jack Sant somewhere, and a quick start also for David Nye. Miller's in there as well. They all pile down towards the Agostini hairpin for the first time, and it is Cooper who leads. It is Webster in 2nd place. Tomaszewski is holding on to 3rd ahead of Kolfer in 4th position. And actually, Kolfer's got up to 3rd. He's got past Tomaszewski. In fact, and Miller, of course, has gone a good start in the red, white, and yellow kind of Dick Johnson shell-inspired livery in that car, number 12, and he's up to 5th position. Then we got Alistair Kellett, followed by Nye, who pitches into the corner. Brady Pollock's had a good start too, from what was about 10th or 12th on the grid, up inside the top 10 already, but through Williams for the first time. Cooper leads the way with that lucky black door. You talked about it. But Webster holding her own in 2nd place, with Kolfer right on her tail in 3rd.
Wow, what a start to the race that was, my goodness. I almost couldn't look at the screen. The driver's going left, right and centre, but yeah, Kasper Tomaszewski sharpening those old Spanish archers. He got the elbow out there, didn't he, to try and keep Graham Kolfer behind. Couldn't do it, and now Kolfer's found a way through to 2nd place as well. Relegates Maggie Webster into P3. Then it's Gary Miller then following behind in 4th. He's now through on Tomaszewski as well. And who is it but the number 1 driver, Alistair Kellett, your reigning champion, just behind them as well. Big moment there, sideways, big tank slapper for Jack Sant, I think that was there, off on the left-hand side of the screen. Or was it George Foxlow, was it going wide? Oh, Foxlow then, a less than ideal first lap of the race then, dropping back at the start, and now a big off-track moment there. He did very well to hold that one and get back on, but he's lost even more positions.
Yeah, somewhere down the top 10, we'll see how far he's gone when they come across the line. Cooper leads it then from Kolfer in 2nd place, Webster side by side with Miller for 3rd place. She held on to it across the line by 82 thousandths of a second. Just behind them, Webster, you've got Kellett going down the inside of Tomaszewski, as there goes Miller round the outside of Maggie Webster for 3rd. Clean move from the vice champion from last year. Maggie tries to come back, but Miller throws the block on the inside, and also looking pretty well there was Brady Pollock. He's on the inside of David Nye looking for 7th place, and he's also under threat from behind from Jack Sant in the championship winning car from last year as Sean Reynolds pits in the 777 car. So Jack Sant in P9 in the title-winning car that Kellett drove to the championship in 2025. There's Kellett himself in car number 1 in his new car for this year. Down the back, the short straight towards Agostini again. Let's see if what Miller can do to try and catch the top 2 as Kolfer's going with Cooper. The thing is, Cooper, if he gets himself into good position, he's one of those drivers who will stay out in front, and he's got good momentum to keep the pace to hold on. As we see Jack Sant almost trying to elbow Brady Pollock out wide on the exit of Agostini for position. That would have been for 8th place, as Kolfer now puts the pressure onto Cooper. A fair play to Maggie Webster, of course, as she's in her 2nd season in ST240s and doing quite well, taking advantage of that reverse grid top 10 to hold the station in 4th. She's keeping Miller honest as well. This is a good effort from Maggie. Of course, learning all she could from Albert, as well as, of course, learning herself. And that's problem for Brady Pollock, is it? He's dropping backwards behind Jack Sant and James Pope. Either that just lost momentum on the inside line. But it's a shake of the head that you think, Johnny, it's a possible problem. And the fact that Luke Ward's closing in, that's issues for Brady Pollock, which is a shame because he had such a good run in his first weekend out of City Car, getting used to the ST240. And at moments he had some good flashes of brilliance, but unfortunately it just hasn't quite come to good in race number 3.
I thought initially that was just a missed gear. Let's see about the pull on the exit of the corner here. Looks no, maybe he's losing a bit of power here, so something more sizable issue then. What a shame. I've just realised as well with Foxo going wide on the previous lap, it was my turn to get the Alistair Kellett cars confused because we've got 3 of them out there in very similar paint liveries. But it was indeed Foxo dropping down the order. He's resettled in 13th place and now looking to make his way back up through the order. Well, Cooper remaining firm with that lucky black door at the sharp end of the field. Well, it was Cooper with the new fastest lap. Then it went to Miller, but it actually has gone to Alistair Kellett then in 4th place after getting past Maggie Webster on the last lap. She now has Kasper Tomaszewski for company as Brady Pollock in the pit lane there, as very wide for Webster there through T1. Has she just done enough to keep Tomaszewski behind as they go into the braking zone? No. Tomaszewski's up the inside, tries to squeeze the 188 to the grass, but she'll hang it round the outside, of course, becomes the inside then through the left of Palmer. But will she have the exit speed to hold it there? Yes, she will, and back through she goes. A shame, though, Brady Pollock already out of this race.
Yeah, unfortunate to see for Brady. Again, graduation from City Car to Fiesta ST240 is very much out of the frying pan into the fire, and doing well and showing that he can swim, but certainly showing that he's also got some car issues that he needs to try and work out for next time out. So there's the top 6 on screen together. Kolfer pressuring Cooper, Miller with Kellett on his tail for third place. And then you've got, of course, Maggie Webster holding off Tomilewski. Looking down the outside is Colford, trying to get that undercut where he can. The up and under on Cooper, if he can try and find that little piece of real estate on the inside line. Tries to force himself alongside. Can't quite have enough momentum to get it done. They're three-wheeling their way through. I love the fact how stiffly sprung they are. Literally just, they lift that inside rear wheel as they go through. And, of course, you get them on a bit of a slide. They do something to... Because they are quite stiffly sprung, they hop around quite a lot when you're trying to get them. A little bit like Clio Cup cars or other cars that are kind of a little bit unsettled on the rear sometimes on the slicks. But it is great to watch these cars move around and posture as they try and find a piece of real estate. Top four now closing up now. Miller almost with Kellett into his rear end, but he manages to hold on to the place. And looks like Webster's holding her own in P5. She's not let Tomilewski get away too far as they come out through the bomb hole. And yeah, Tomilewski's dropped back a little bit. Now it's the clutches of both David Nye and Jack Sant. So that's now going to be possible pressure for Tomilewski to have to deal with over 6th position. But they're pairing off here. And I think maybe Webster now, she's got a bit more time to relax. She's got possibly maybe a chance to catch up to these top four if they start to battle too much, which is possible considering how competitive they all are. This is kind of the... I can't remember exactly how old Graham Colfer is. It's more like the older guard in the championship are the ones towards the front, the more experienced drivers. And they are showing that now literally to the four, first to fourth position. David Niles sets the fastest lap of the race to further back that one up. And Sean Reynolds is there coming out of the pits after a lengthy stop. He came at the end of lap number 1. He's a couple of laps down now. There's Maggie Webster in 5th. Tomilewski coming back in 6th. And Nye, Sant, Pope and War. That's the top 10 as we go into the 7 minutes done and just under 13 minutes left to go here in this final race of the weekend for the ST240s. And so far, it is the, as you said, the more experienced drivers that are leading the way here from the young guns from the Fiesta Juniors.
Indeed it is. Yeah, over a third of the race completed then, and still John Cooper leading the way, but he's starting now to try and break the toe. Not quite defending as such, as all that super late on the brakes might go into the back of Cooper there. Has done well as Colfer to avoid the contact, as there's Tomilewski up the inside there into Agostini. Super late on the brakes, but again, just about giving enough room there to Webster, and Maggie has to slot in behind. There's a move for the lead though, up the inside at Hamilton's. Colfer's through, he's got it done, but it might be straight back up the inside into the right for Cooper. He can't quite get it done, but Gary Miller now getting stuck in as well, and he's bringing Alistair Kellett along for the party too. So finally we do have a change at the front. No super aggressive defending from Cooper, but either way it hasn't been enough. Colfer's through then into the lead. Tomilewski has finalised that move on Webster, so he's now up into the top 5, and again they're bringing Nye and Sant along for the party as well. Didn't quite spot Sant in that camera shot. He might have just fallen a few tenths back once again. Cooper looking back up the inside then, not able to make a move, and actually has to check up a little bit through the left. Gary Miller has to check up as well, and Alistair Kellett right on his rear bumper.
Yeah, there's Jack Sant. I can see him in the background there in the title-winning car from last year. Just lost a few tenths, but then this now means that Nye will have be under threat, putting Webster under threat. Meanwhile, these two are going door to door and wing mirror to wing mirror. There was tapping wing mirrors on the exit of Nelson. This is between Pope and War, and Luke War does make the move. He forces Pope to the outside line and then covers the line on the corner exit. There goes Foxlow in 11th place, followed by Hayes and Ritchie as they're having their own battle of over 12th position. In towards Coram. It's probably the trickiest cars to drive it through Coram Corner, given they bounce around and sit on their suspension quite stiffly and just lift their inside rear wheel. New fast lap of the race with Kasper Tomilewski, 2:10.674. The young gun absolutely flying out there. Could be another unsung hero this weekend from what he's managed so far in his Fiesta Junior debut, his Fiesta Senior racing debut.
He made an overtake on that lap as well, don't forget. What an amazing lap. Impressive lap time, and he's made an overtake on Maggie Webster on the same lap. Tomilewski into the top 5. There is George Foxlow trying to make up for those earlier issues, fighting his way back through the order. He's almost, he's knocking on the door of the top 10 now as there's moving behind as well. That's Hayes and Ricci battling over 12th place. Hayes getting set to the outside line, but will just about hold on to it. Keeps Ricci behind for now anyway, and their squabble for 12th. So Foxlow looking to chase down Pope ahead, and then War heading up their squabble. However, it's then a further 9 seconds up to Sant at the back of our leading pack. Still just less than 5 seconds separating the top 8 here, and we're just about to hit half race distance. Amazing in the ST240s. It was always one of my favourite championships to be commentating over last year, and that looks to be continuing on into 2026. So many impressive drivers in this championship, and still not a clue who's going to win this race. Colfer still in the lead then, with Cooper just behind in second place. Miller, Kellett, and now Tomilewski going with them as well. He has properly broken away from Webster, Nye and Sant now, and he wants to join this group of 4 ahead. He thinks, that looks quite fun, guys. I'd like to get involved, please. And he's doing just that.
Yeah, trying to, and because he's capitalised on the fact these four are battling so hard, of course, it's bringing them in the mix to make it a 5-car train for the lead. Of course, remember, this is his first weekend racing in seniors out of juniors from last year. As we see there, that's Jack Sant, who's passed not only David Nye, but also Maggie Webster. So Webster's obviously repassed Nye, and then in the process of that, Sant's passed both of them. He's up into P6. So 2 cars for the price of 1. That means he's up into the top 6 now behind Tomilewski. Him and Tomilewski have a fantastic first weekend in seniors out of Fiesta Juniors. There's another fellow graduate in George Foxlow. Not quite the weekend I think he was hoping for. We've seen him be much quicker. He's been up there as high as in the podium place, even here at Snetterton in the past, but just not quite the luck or the pace we were hoping for, I think, given we know how quick he is in the past. Tomilewski again in the fast snap of the race, and he's side by side with Kellett. Here he goes up the outside for 4th position, down the outside, and Tomilewski puts one on the champion. Almost, does he? Yes? Question mark, because he's on the outside. Kellett has track position now for the next corner at Wilson Hairpin, but Kasper Tomilewski not intimidated by the champion. He's up the outside lines trying to make a move. He's in 5th position, but at this rate, John, you might well go for 4th position and even a podium finish. That could be fantastic. Indeed,
that would be amazing. Yeah, Alice is suddenly thinking, hold on a second, where have you come from? I was totally focused on the battle ahead, and suddenly I've got a young Polishman chasing me down. Well, Kasper not able to make his way through there at T1. Kellett did well, showing his experience there, remaining calm, forcing Tomilewski out wide and retaking the places. That's a little bit deep under brakes there for Gary Miller. Down through Agostini, and Cooper all over the rear of Graham Colfer, absolutely hounding the rear end of that ST240 as they continue to press on through the 300 layout. Through Hamilton's they go, now late on the brakes into Oggies to hook up this right, and then into the further right of Williams to carry all that speed down the back straight. But yeah, Tomilewski is looking feisty here. I mean, if Cooper continues to pile on the pressure as he is doing, closing them all up once again, Tomilewski is genuinely in with a shout of a podium here. What a drive this has been so far. Still, 7.5 minutes left to go though.
Cooper's put the pressure back on Colfer. We saw him right on the rear bumper exiting through Williams as they came down the Bentley straight once again. As you say, in the second half of the race, and Cooper's darting out, just putting himself into Colfer's mirrors to try and distract him, but it might have also been a defensive tactic to hold off from Miller, who's right there too, as is also Kellett. He closes up under braking. Tomilewski on the back of all of them now in 5th position, so it's now a 5-car train for the lead, and Sant's not too far away either. Look at that, he's actually closing in now in P6, and Webster also holding her own in P7 ahead of David Nye. So impressive third race here for the ST240. Lots of action going on. Horobin pits again for the second time. Some problems for Simon, the experienced veteran in the championship. Not quite the weekend he was hoping for. Had some contact early in the weekend and dropped backwards in the order and got himself a decent enough result in race 2 mid-pack, but not really a weekend he'll be happy with in Fiesta ST240. He loves the championship, but not quite the weekend he was hoping for in that sense. Colfer pulling away slightly from Cooper. Might be the reason, because Miller and Cooper are going side by side for second place now. Miller in the Shell-esque livery number 12. 12 looks up the outside, 42 in fact, and goes round the outside. Got good pace here, but he's slide out wide onto the dirty part of the circuit. The answer is yes. Over the curb he goes. Cooper goes back through and holds the line. And there goes Tomilewski, look. Tomilewski was out the inside past Kellett, and he was across the line, so into 4th place he goes. Could Kasper Tomilewski be on course possibly if he plays his cards right for a podium? He's still at the fastest lap of the race. 2-minute 10.623. The only man that's gone, apart from Sant, that's gone into the 2:10s, because he's gone quick on a 2:10.7. A huge sideways moment for Cooper. Just about holds on to it somehow. He boots the throttle and comes back around again. And somehow only loses 1 place and doesn't lose it completely. How on earth did he do that?
Unbelievable from John Cooper there. Well, initially, less than ideal the slide itself, but an unbelievable catch. Only loses 1 place, as you say. So Gary Miller through into 2nd place. But biggest winner from that one, Graham Colfer. He was already starting to build a margin, wasn't he, with Cooper and Miller battling? But with that massive tank slapper there for John Cooper, Colfer's off. This is his opportunity to properly start to gap the rest of the field. And again, Cooper and Miller held up with that issue. Tomilewski and Kellett straight back on the scene as well. As you say, Tomilewski, he's looking really good here, isn't he? Battling well. He's just got past the reigning champion. He's got the fastest lap of the race. It's all the ingredients here for a very, very positive result here in the last race of the weekend. Well, for all of these drivers, but Kasper Tomilewski on an absolute charge here. But Kellett looking back up the inside here through the left-hander. Not quite going to work.
Look at P6. Jack Sant's closing in as well. Did a 2:10.7 last time, and actually going to close in the more these two battle. So that's to be crucial to watch out for. And how ironic would it be if Kellett looks to his inside line and finds his car from last year passing him for the position? That'd be quite ironic, wouldn't it? There goes David Nye. He's got past Maggie Webster. That's for 7th. So that's a bit of a change of position there. Luke Waugh has now got ahead of, well, he was ahead of James Pope, but he's retiring by the looks of it. He's got problems for the number 11 car. Through goes Foxlow, so Pope's gone through already. Pope disappeared also. There's Pope, in fact, he's got through, but he's lost that to Foxlow as well. So I think, I don't want to put two and two together too much, but maybe the signs suggest that possibly there's been contact or something that's gone on between War and Pope. We'll wait and see if the stewards decide to do anything post-race. Foxo on his own now, holding on to what will be now become 9th place because he's got past Pope and War as a result. War is limping back to the pits. Across the line go the leaders with 2 laps to go. Just about 2 laps to go there because the timer was, maybe, that's what's 50 and a half. That's, they could get, no, they're going to get, I'm trying to work out if they're going to get maybe, they could get 3 more laps because they came across the line with 15 minutes 29. That's 4 minutes 31 left, and they're doing 2 minute 11 lap times, 2:10s. Maybe 3 more laps, including the one they're on, which could be quite tight. But we'll wait and see. They could maybe flag it after 2 because of the not wanting to go past the curfew of 6:30 and to make sure we get both the last catering graduates racing and the MXI Super Cup. We'll wait and see, but this could be at least the fourth lap of the race, if not the third to last lap of the race. We'll wait and see how it plays out on the pit straight. So, Miller is up to 2nd place now. Cooper's 3rd. Kellett's back to 4th position past Tom Oleski, and also joining in the fun now is Jack Sant in P6, just behind there in the championship winning car from last year. But Colfer might be AM-class status, but he's certainly driving like he's a pro. We've got plenty of pace as Cooper thumps the curb on the inside too. And the top 6 are way ahead of the battle for 7th place. But it's not really a battle anymore, is it? Because Nye's got through into P7. There he goes. Then there's Maggie Webster in 8th. And then we wait for George Foxler, who is another 9 seconds back in the background. But Maggie having a strong run in the top 10. Good effort so far for her. And that will also give her, where she stays where she is, a 4th place in the AM class as well, as Miller tries to put the pressure onto his fellow Irishman Colfer. So top 6 in one shot together, just proving even in this 3rd race how competitive the Fiesta ST240s are definitely looking this year. A great mixture of experience and youthful exuberance.
Yeah, super competitive, isn't it? Yeah, with Maggie Webster 8th overall, you'd usually think that's pretty up there in terms of an AM class, but she is down in 4th in the AM class. It just shows how impressive the drivers classed as amateurs in this series really are, getting properly stuck in here in the leading group. Well, Gary Miller has found a bit of pace there over the last part of the previous lap, chasing down Graham Colfer. Yeah, we're going to be close, aren't we, here? Just under 2 minute 20. I think we will just about get 2 more laps of racing. Well, we press on then. We'll work that all out as you press on through this one. But look at this. Jack Sant, he's closing up to the back then of our top 5, looking to now make what was a top 4, became a top 5 when Tom Oleski joined, and now Jack Sant joining the party as well. We've seen how well he's battled throughout this weekend. Great to see him getting stuck in here in the ST240s, and like I say, once again, he's joining our leading group. So it is Colfer from Miller and Cooper, then still your top 3, with Keller, Tom Oleski and Sant closely following behind. Keller did a really good job there after getting overtaken by Tom Oleski, quickly getting his way back through to get back on those leading 3 and stay in with a chance if things go wrong ahead. Heavy on the brakes there for Colfer, almost loses it, up on 2 wheels in the mid-corner. He's going to have to cover it off on the exit and just about moves one way then the other then back again to keep Gary Miller behind. Well, Colfer, he's been leading this one beautifully. He's nearly chucked it away there all on his own, but well done to Mr. Colfer. He's gathered it back up and holds the lead, but Gary Miller wants it off him, doesn't he just? And here comes John Cooper as well.
2 things. There was no last lap board, and by the time I make it, it's just past 10 past 5, so we should be good enough because the next race is set to start at 5:30, so it should be good to get, if we do so, 2 more laps, which could mean 1 more lap after this one, so it could be quite interesting how this plays out. So back straight for what we think is the penultimate time, and Colfer got away with that one. I think you can agree with that. Down towards Brundle Nelson under the bridge, but that car's moving around quite a lot now. Has he cooked his tyres a bit too much? I wonder. They come through Brundle Nelson, Miller right on his rear bumper, likewise Kellett on the back of Cooper. Tobolewski's back in there as well. Watch for Jack Sant somewhere in the background in P6. Through the bomb hole. Where's Jack Sant? There he is, just on the tail trying to chase after them. And of course, given how close it is, it could be anyone's guess for this one. I look out of the commentary box window. No sign of a checkered flag. Well, there'll be a last lap board. Checkered flag, I can't see it. We'll have to wait and see. Out of the Murray's corner they go. John's also watching to see if anything happens. Nothing is, no checkered flag out. There'll be a last lap board. It's going to be 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 seconds to go. So it is the last lap of the race. So we are going to get 1 more, thankfully. Right, on to the final lap of the weekend for the ST240s. Which way is this going to go? Will it be Colfer for a second win? Will Miller or Cooper get a first of 2026? Will it be a second for Kellett? Or could it even be somehow a first win in a senior weekend, be it the Kasper Tobolewski or Jack Sant? Any of those 6 could be in contention for at least a podium. Which order, it remains to be decided. Through Wilson Hairpin, a little bit of oversteer on corner apex for Colfer, but keeps it nice and steady. Miller putting the pressure, feeling the pressure from John Cooper, with Kellett now into 4th position, as we said, and the 2 juniors behind in 5th and 6th. Topdowski keeping him honest. Down towards Agostini for the final time. It's not over yet by a long shot, is it?
Certainly isn't. No, indeed. Of course, Colfer with a win so far this weekend. Same for Kellett. I mean, if Gary Miller can get one as well, then the triple of Irish drivers are able to get themselves a win from this weekend. But we press on then through this final lap. Of course, Colfer had that issue out of Agostini last time. It's been a much safer run this time through Agostini, through Hamilton's, and then down into Oggies once again. Then Miller actually really having to turn his attention to John Cooper behind. And I thought that Kellett could be able to scythe through here. I thought he might have been the one to save his tyres best, as that's a lot of gravel and dust there kicked up on the inside there from Gary Miller. That's not going to help his exit speed as they carry that all the way down the back straight. Top 5 absolutely line astern, but are they close enough for things to change here?
He did clip the inside corner marker there, did Gary Miller. He got away with that, I think, a little bit. He's got Cooper right to his inside and on his rear bumper. Miller closes back up under braking through the complex. Might be a possible opportunity to squeeze past if he gets a real good run here. Down towards the bomb hole for the final time. Colfer has the line and the lead. Still, Colfer from Miller, from Cooper, Kellett, Tomoleski out wide over the curb and sat in 6th position. Is anyone going to make a one last gasp move here in the final couple of corners? Through Coram. They're closing up for 3rd, 4th and 5th. Kellett looks nervous in P4. Lifting his inside wheel is going to be Colfer. If he gets away with exit, it might be a chance for Miller, but up towards the checker flag they'll come. And another great race for the Fiesta ST240s. It was one apiece between Colfer and Kellett. That's going to be 2-1 in the favour of Colfer. Across the line he goes. It is another Irish domination, a 1-2 for the Irish drivers. It is Colfer who takes his 2nd win of the weekend and in career in ST240s. Gary Miller 2nd. John Cooper gets a podium after everything he's been through in 3rd place. Excellent drive from him after he started from the front row of the grid. Alistair Kellett gets 4th, and in their first senior weekend, Kasper Tomoleski in a top 5, and also was close for the final fast lap of the race, but that was taken by Kellett in the end. From Jack Sant in P6, kudos to both of them for getting themselves really good results all weekend. Maggie Webster 7th in the end, after David Nye, I think, gets a penalty because he's dropping down the order, or that doesn't come through. What's happened to Kellett? So not Kellett, to David Nye, because he hasn't come through, and he was 7th. So whatever's happened to David, he's obviously stopped somewhere. I don't think it's a penalty. Nothing came up on the screen. So problems for David Nye in the final lap, which sees him lose out on a top 10 place. Webster gets 7th. That's a good solid end to her weekend after she started from the reverse grid pole. George Fox, though, be frustrated with that. 8th place, but it's still an okay top 10 for him. Then James Pope 9th and Marco Ricci rounding out the top 10. I think it's safe to say, if these really are turbo tin tops and one or two of these guys are possible touring car stars of the future, like we see with our juniors, I think we've got some pretty good prospects in hand. But of course, it's the more experienced drivers that are coming to the fore once again. They're the ones showing the way in terms of experience counts for a lot in these cars, but so does youthful exuberance. And in many cases, both of them are shining quite brightly for their own reasons.
They are indeed. Yeah, what's a way to finish the weekend then for the ST240s? Well, it's 2 wins and a 2nd place then for Graham Colfer. It's 1 win, a 2nd place, and a 4th for Alistair Kellett. So your reigning champion from 2025 is not going to be leading the championship after the first race weekend. That will go the way of his fellow Irishman, of Graham Colfer. Brilliant weekend, fantastic racing in the ST240s, and what a lead group we got there. Some real experienced drivers here in the ST240s, racing door to door with some young guns moving on through their motorsport career. Tomoleski and Sant, unbelievably impressive throughout this race weekend. I can't wait to see what they do the rest of the season.
Yeah, it can be pretty impressive, I think, for them. Luke Ward does make it to the checker flag in the end after he had the mechanical issues. There were a few drivers that had to pit in with problems of their own. But the ST240 again delivering fantastic action, and once again it's now a 2nd win of the season and of his career and of the weekend for Graham Colfer. He wins from Gary Miller and John Cooper. So again, the experienced drivers, once again the first 4 positions, they're the ones to watch throughout the season. But don't count out the young guns. Kasper Tomoleski, very impressive in his first senior weekend, as was Jack Sant. Remember, he qualified on the front row yesterday morning in qualifying. He gets P6. There's Webster 7th, Foxlow 8th, Pope 9th and Ricci 10th. Then we have Harry Hayes and War, Chambers, Nye and War, Horrobin, Reynolds and Pollock are the order from before. Horrobin, Reynolds and Pollock are the ones who didn't finish.